You know what that means? Young people out there and people all around the world, chase your dreams. There's never a time where your dreams may not come true. As long as you're on this earth, you have a chance for your dreams coming true. And that's it in trending news.
Well, you heard it from Wade. That was the trending topic all over the world. That's news all over the world. But it's time for us to bring our big special guest. Come on out here, Bryant Mckinnie. Y'all roll him out.
That's literally and figuratively.
SuperBowl Champ 47. Bryant Mckinnie is now in the room, guys.
Boy is big.
Yes.
Big B Mac.
Yes.
He's a big fella.
How you doing? We're going to a quick commercial break. We're going to sit down and talk to the Super Bowl champ. We're going to talk about things in the NFL, things outside the NFL, and we'll be right back.
You're watching the Wadedifferent, so like and subscribe, and we'll be right back.
Very special guest in the studio. He's one of the greatest men to ever step foot on a basketball court. The best defensive guard of all time. The ambassador of the Euro step, who slices through the lane like a ninja in rush hour traffic. The 3-time NBA champion, Olympic bronze and gold medalist. The mayor of Wade County, 6'4" guard from Robbins, Illinois. We have Dwyane.
I'm in here. Like, I'm not leaving the game feeling like I left anything on the table. You know what I'm saying? I'm leaving like, you know what? I gave everything to it. I accomplished this, I accomplished this, I accomplished this. So I can walk away from the game. So it feels good right now to know that you know, everything that I wanted to accomplish and more that I did, so I can walk away and not look back.
Champ, I'm so glad to have you here.
Happy to be here.
What's up, champ?
It's good.
Hey, man.
How everybody doing?
Oh, we doing good, man. We doing good, bro.
Okay.
We good now that you here.
Okay.
Let's talk it up.
We're just surprised, man. You definitely a real office. I mean, like a left tackle, bro. Like, I'm really surprised.
Yeah.
And so, when did you think that, you know, being a Super Bowl champ, you know what I mean, getting in the ring, now doing your own business, doing your own entrepreneurship. I see you got your drink here called, you know,
Repent.
You know what I mean? How much repenting you were doing after the Super Bowl days?
Oh, plenty. I wish I had it then. I feel like I went on tour celebrating, but it was a great time.
So for the ones who don't know, what is Repent all about? You know, we're talking about his drink out here. If you guys can see, you can hold it up to the camera. I want to make sure we get straight into that.
It's a 2.5 ounce shot. It's basically nanotechnology involved, so your body's able to absorb about 75 to 80% of it, and it cures hangovers. But also, if you have like a strenuous workout, it helps replenish because it's nothing but B12, electrolytes, you know, all the type of vitamins and things that you may sweat out from workouts or partying.
That's not gonna have the league red flag me and fine me
It's
and
all
then suspend
natural.
me for 8 games. Is it B Mac?
All natural.
Okay, now.
Gives you everything that you lost.
That's not what Sammy Sosa was using, was it?
Not at all, unless he was
Okay.
getting wasted and needed to cure his hangover.
Okay, just making sure.
That's cool. So let's talk about life before the NFL. You know, before the you were into, you know, you're from Jersey. I'm correct.
Yep.
And for you guys out there, if you don't know, he's a alumni.
Yeah.
sir.
He came from the U, and he got drafted into the NFL. But let's talk about your earlier days before the football. You know, what it was all about, because, you know, we got insight that you were playing basketball.
I did.
Of that nature.
I started off wrestling first. My mom put me that just to learn discipline. So wrestling was first. I did that probably from like first grade to like third, and then I started playing basketball. And that was because I was raised as the only child, so that teaches you to be able to get along, play with others, you know what I mean, and work as a team. So I did that all the way up until high school, to about like 9th grade. And then in 9th grade is also when I started basketball. So then started playing basketball because my friends was playing. I mean, I started playing football because my friends was playing it. I was always too like young to play it like under 9th grade because I was like tall for my age, but so I was never made to like it was a weight clause or something back then too. So I was like always like the age of somebody 3 years older than me, so I could never play. So I had to wait till high school. So then high school, that's when I first went out, and then we went undefeated. And then sophomore year, I ain't go back out. I went out like for camp or whatever, and I was like, I ain't doing this. And my grandma was like, my grandma played a big factor in this because when I first started, she liked me to stay with basketball. She like, you ain't gonna like football, you gonna quit. So then my sophomore year, I didn't do it, and she like, see, I told you, but I just ain't do it. It had nothing to do with like not liking it. I just didn't do it that year, and I was trying to like focus back on basketball. But by her saying that made me go back out my junior year, and then when it came to my junior year, I didn't play basketball no more. I like focused in on football, and so that story with my grandma kind of carries over to me. End up getting a scholarship when I went to junior college, and getting a scholarship at University of Miami, then draft day, then Super Bowl, like all that was always her in the back of my head telling me that I wasn't gonna like it. So you know how people use something to keep them going?
Yep.
That voice I kept hearing every time, you tired, are you ready to quit? Like, see, I told you ain't going, and I just kept hearing it, it just annoyed me, so I just kept going.
So pretty much your grandma was that working vessel for you.
Yeah,
to
and
keep
she
going.
she knows it now, but she didn't know that was what kept me going, is me keep hearing her tell me that I was going to quit and I wasn't going to like it. And I would remind her, though, she knows, because I would remind her, like, when I got my scholarship to junior college, I said, Dad, Grandma, remember you said I wasn't going to like it and I was going to quit? And then when I got the scholarship to University of Miami, Grandma, remember when you said? She like, I know, I'm proud. And then when it's time to get drafted, you know, she's with me in New York for draft day, and I reminded her again. And then 11 years later, I won the Super Bowl. She's the first one out there. She beat my mom and everybody else. She found me on the field.
Crazy.
And I reminded her then. So all those different moments, she was always the first person to come to my mind because it was really her voice I just kept hearing.
That's
it kind of got me through it.
Hearing from your conversation, it seems that the women in your life were very big motivating factors. I could see that. What I want to know is, were there any male figures in your life that...
My dad was there. But my dad, I have a little bit of him too, because like he worked during the week, but then he like hung out on the weekends. That's kind of like how I am. So that's where I kind of get that from. So he was there, and he would come to events when he could. But I lived with my mom. I was the only child by her, and then I'm the only grandchild on that side too. My mom had a sister, but she had no kids. So you had them who I seen working a lot, like working hard. So that kind of is like things that you look for, and when you're talking to a girl, like not no lazy person, like somebody who got like work ethic and how to hustle and make money. You know what I'm saying? So if that's all you seen growing up, that's kind of what you expect. You know what I mean? And then and I just learned things. I feel like growing up, watching other people and saying like, I ain't gonna do that. Like, you know what I mean? And I just felt like watching, like, I ain't like saying nothing negative about my dad, but he has like, it's like 5 of us, but we all got different moms. So I just feel like I never wanted that burden to deal with these 5 different personalities. You know what I'm saying?
I'm mad at you on that.
And then they had their, then some of the moms didn't get along, So I just feel like that was a lot. And I was like, I don't want to have that going on. You know what I'm saying?
I understand, definitely.
So I took things that I seen and was like, this is not what I want to do. Then I took things that, if I was underestimated, I took that and used it as motivation.
And I feel you to what you are today. Being an entrepreneur. I see you very big in the community. How important is community to you?
It's very important because, like I said, coming from like a single parent home, and I was a kid that grew rapidly. So every year, my mom had to keep buying new clothes. I wear 18, so my shoe size went up. Every year I was my age. I was 10, I wore 10. It went all the way up till I was 18. So
18.
Yeah. So
you gotta buy your sneakers in the canoe section.
So just imagine back in like 95, I wear like a 15, and my mom is out here. It's placed in Atlanta. I forget what it's called. They like had it, so we had to order like a lot of my stuff, and I'm trying to still keep up to what everybody else got, and things like that. So that required her to have to work 2, and sometimes the holidays 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? And she would get like the little child support from my dad, but she would use that for like lunch for me. Like, you use this for lunch or your weekend stuff. And I just like kind of was taught like work ethic, and you don't get rewarded unless you get good grades. You know what I'm saying? But my big things was like, she couldn't afford to be buying me stuff all throughout the year. So my big days was my birthday and Christmas. You know what I'm saying? And anything else, like if I wanted to get something, because I come up from Jersey, so Man, I get one of my homeboys. We go shovel people's yards, and
Ooh, you took it back.
yeah, you go shovel their
You go
yards. They
get
give
that
you
back.
money to shovel, and then, like, so you go out there, you do that. Like that gets you your own money, so you ain't got to worry about your mom and all them. So as soon as it snowed, I was like, hey, I call my homie Terry up. I say, hey, we finna go shovel. And you go to the certain sections, you know, the big houses, and
Yeah.
Well,
we
let
do,
me
like,
ask you,
Charge
bro,
it.
because I'm from Chicago, and we done had some cold winters. Have you ever went out there and made money pushing cars out of the snow?
I think not like that. They'll probably push one car probably before though, but like not too much like that. But it's more about shoveling people's driveways and their pathways for them to get in and out the house. And you find just people who didn't want to do it, but they wouldn't mind giving you $10. You know, that went a long way back in 94, 95, $10, $20 to do it.
Yeah,
And you just go to a couple of houses.
Yeah, because when we was coming up, man, the tires used to always spin in the ice.
Yeah.
And we'd have to go out there and push them out, and we
Oh,
made
okay.
more money pushing cars out than we did shoveling snow back in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is up north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said stating that your mom, your grandma was a very big important figure, and your father was the reason why you made the correct choices in life.
Just certain decisions I seen didn't go well, so I knew not to make those same decisions. So I would just like stay away from certain things. I mean, I still hung out, but I just decided to just be more safe in my decisions. And
being in the NFL and serving as many years you were in there, was that a big issue that guys in the NFL didn't have a father figure and they were being taken advantage of?
by agents
Yeah.
and by different people, I could see that. And you had certain agents who would kind of prey on that situation when you just had the mom there who didn't know any better, and maybe the dad wasn't there. But luckily, I had a mom who was kind of educated, and if she didn't know, she was going to ask somebody and do research and do all that stuff. So it became to the point where some people would come to my mom and ask her about financial advisors or agents as well. So and she was known, you know, throughout the league as like a no nonsense lady, and was like kind of on her stuff, you know. And I'm the only child to it at the end of the day too. So it's like she gotta protect that.
That's a blessing.
So what words of advice you would give to people who have children who are possibly have the chance to be in the NFL?
I think they should definitely educate themselves. My mom's the president of the NFL Mom Association. Get into those leagues because they help all the moms. Between all those moms, they've all been in some type of situation with their child, so they can give you the advice and the guidance to what you may need to do as being a new mom entering the league, and you feel like you'll have some type of support. You know what I mean? So by having all those moms there, and they do advanced charity work and stuff like that, but having a support system of moms who have been there and done it, it'll help out a lot because, you know, some of them can't ask their homegirls because they haven't experienced it. But if you're around a group of people who've experienced something that you're about to go through or going through, it's a little better.
Wow. I definitely call that a repent conversation. Definitely a repent
Gotta
conversation.
be proactive.
Yeah.
Being in the NFL, what are the do's and don'ts for the ones who are walking in? For the, you know, these young athletes who just, you know, are coming in as rookie, what are the do's and don'ts?
Oh, what you mean?
So basically, what are the things you should do while you're in the NFL and things you should avoid by being in the NFL? Because I feel like since you being a Super Bowl champ, I feel like you have like a long list of experiences that you could share with our audience. And I feel like, you know, I want everybody on the show that you are a Super Bowl champ, but you are the guy who can give you the insight of the game.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a learning experience. And then coming from Miami at the time where we were winning, I didn't really have anybody who tried to take me under their wing. They kind of just assumed I knew already. But you got to learn to become a professional. You know what I mean? You don't just walk in and be a professional because you got drafted. That's a process, and you have to learn it. So it was things I was doing. I didn't wear gloves, which I should have been wearing. Probably went out my first 6 years without wearing gloves. Broke my finger, broke my hand twice. Had surgery on my finger, and then I finally started wearing gloves. Somebody should have told me that earlier. Ice tubs I learned later on because, you know, when you first get there, you kind of bounce back faster. But then as you get in the year, like 5, 6, it's like start learning how to take care of your body more.
What's
So
the purpose of ice tubs?
it helps bring your legs back underneath you, like so you feel better. So you do
Reduces
that.
inflammation.
Yeah, so it makes you feel a lot better if you do that like 2 days or so before a game. So just different things like that I had to learn by watching because you just came from a team that just won a national championship. You got all these guys from University of Miami, and they just feel like, well, he must know. But it's like, no, you don't.
It's not that, B. How do you tell somebody 6'8", 360 what to do? I'm not telling that
They
guy
can suggest.
nothing.
Well, everybody out there, if you're just tuning in, we talking to Super Bowl champion Bryant Mckinnie, Big Mac.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So we're about to go into a little light commercial break, and we'll have more insight with Mr. Big Mac himself.
You're watching The Way Different, so like and subscribe, and we'll be right back.
Never really mattered too much to me. If I was in love and people wanted to see, all I did
write every day.
Why you locked up, I mean?
I wrote most of my project.
Yeah.
It was written in
This is
there.
what you want, then this is how it'll be. For you, I'll hide this love.
Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna bring him back and put him through trial? Come on, stop that.
Right.
I don't feel like she should have did that to him.
In this bitch, I tiptoe around town like it ain't these arms that give.
On the Way Different Live.
No, it's gonna be real though.
I got Bryant
I'm
McKinney with
D-Wade all
us.
day.
I got you already know. He already said his name on it. You know, I got the protege, aka Jason, off the fingertips coming in next week. Tune in for that. We got Super Bowl champ Bryant McKinney. Go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, my brother. What are some of the things you learned from redshirting your first year in college that you could talk to potential college or players headed to the pros about?
I learned everything my first year. I learned the whole system. I was against it at first, and that's just being eager to play. But it actually works out in your benefit because once you have a whole year to learn the whole system of how everything is operated, as far as for me offensively, you're gonna play faster and you're gonna play with more confidence. So by me redshirting, it helped benefit me, and I was glad I did it. But at the time, you're young and eager to get out there and showcase your talents. But redshirting was good for me. I came from junior college, and you start at the bottom of the depth chart, and I worked my way all the way up to rotate one back and forth with the number one person, and I feel like I beat him out. But he was a senior, and he was there through their the probation years and everything, and it was his senior year, and they kind of didn't want to do him like that. And I had to respect it. I didn't like it at first, but I respected it, and then I went on and redshirted, and then the next year just came back and just won the position.
Yeah, I know. I had talked to my son about it because he redshirted his first year in college, and he said that he had to don every shirt of every player that was somebody, and that just turned him into this player that you couldn't imagine. So, and he had to stay home. He could practice with them when they was at home, but when they go on the road, he had to stay home. And so he said that turned him into this beast.
Yeah, and just my situation, I just feel like I think I beat him out, but I just was like, I'll just wait. And I just feel like it paid off too, because then I would have been going before the national championship if I didn't redshirt. So it all kind of worked in, a good favor.
Played it in your favor.
Yeah.
B-Mac, BCS national champion, Super Bowl champion. You're from the U. You were quoted once in the past as saying that if you were to put together an NFL team consisting solely of UM players, you would win the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. I did say that.
Now, I need 22 names from you right now of the all-time UM football team.
All time?
Run it down the line for us
That's
right
definitely
now.
off the
Let's go
fingertips.
offense first.
Okay.
He put
Who
you
at
on the spot,
QB?
Mac.
That did put me on the spot. QB, you can put Bernie Kosar.
Give me my receivers.
Receivers,
Ooh.
Michael Irvin. You can say Andre Johnson.
Who at tight end?
I was going to say third one, Santana Moss or Reggie Wayne. Tight end, you could say you got Jeremy Shockey, you got Kellen Winslow, you got Bubba Franks.
Give me the O-line.
You got me at left tackle.
Yeah.
You have a Vernon Carey at right.
Yeah.
You have
His son is doing work.
yeah,
by the
he
way.
is going to Duke. You have Brett Romberg at center. You can put Rich Mercier at one of the guards,
Mhm.
and then Casey Jones. He can be the other guard.
Now let's go on the other side of the ball. Give me them defensive tackles.
D tackles, you can put Vince Wilfork and Warren Sapp.
Wow.
Who else on that?
So
line?
defensive ends, you can put Kenny Holmes and Jerome McDougal.
Linebackers,
Linebackers, you're gonna put Ray Lewis.
of course.
Right. You can put Jonathan Vilma,
Vilma's a stud.
and you can put
I need one more. We on a 4-3-D here.
I know. You could put Michael Barrow.
Give me them safeties.
Safeties, you got Phil Buchanan, you got Mike Rump, you got Sean Taylor, you got Ed Reed.
Sean Taylor.
Ed Reed and Sean Taylor.
Rest
And then
in
on the
peace.
corners,
Well, the corners would be Mike Rump and Phil Buchanan, and the two safeties would be Ed Reed and Sean Taylor.
Dang,
could
that's
I
a-
name the coach for you?
Who would be the coach?
I want Jimmy Johnson.
I want Jimmy Johnson
Nah.
too.
All right,
I
we
wish
in
I played
business.
in that era.
Yo, you did a great job of naming them, bro. I don't know how you
Thanks.
did it. I'm gonna tell you, boy.
Oh, we didn't do the running backs. So you could have had Edrin James, you could have had Clinton Portis, you could have Frank Gore, you could have Willis McGahee.
That's legends.
Yeah.
Legends.
That's special to be inducted. Congratulations to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, thank you.
Those were some mercy names, bro. Did you hear them
If
names?
you were to
Those
have
are
all
whole
those
soul.
guys in one team, it'd definitely be Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl.
Man, he was quoted as saying that. Now you heard the roster, you can see why.
That's definitely off the fingertips.
That's an NFL Hall of Fame
Yeah.
roster right there.
Well, you made a name for yourself, protecting your quarterback from getting sacked. What are you doing to teach that to young men who idolize you and who defend like you do?
XPE is like a training facility up in Boca. He has me come up there, and I used to go up there like in between when they get out of college to preparing for the combines. I would go up there and I would teach technique once a week with those guys.
The give back.
Yeah, and then me and Vernon Carey had a big man camp before too, because a lot of these football camps are specifically for skilled positions.
Yes.
And the big guys just kind of sit there and watch the 7-on-7 at a certain point. So we were doing that to teach technique as well.
Next question. When we watch NFL games on television, the helmets are on, so we don't get to see the players' faces or what's being said. But right here, right now on Wadedifferent, tell us what kind of stuff is being said on the bottom of the pile, because I know it can't be nice.
It depends on where you at, because University of Miami, they used to be digging in people's face. And
Talk about it,
yeah,
brother.
so in Miami it was different. I think we kind
How
of
vicious is it?
trained to do that.
How vicious is it in
And
the
then
pile?
us on the offensive side, we knew to hurry up and go get our guys off the ground. So it can get bad at the bottom of the pile. So we knew what we were telling our guys to do. So we knew we need to go and pull our running back up off the ground, our receiver up off the ground, so that doesn't happen to them. So it can get vicious. And I mean, digging in your eyes, just all because you can't really see it.
Yeah,
It's a pile. So yeah, it can get dirty down there.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in no pile.
You
tell
don't.
you
I don't want to be in no pile.
Well, you was the winner of the Outland Trophy. You finished 8 overall, voting in the Heisman Trophy. But CNN Sport Illustrated Player of the Year. You won the Super Bowl. Tell us, in football, what did you not do that you wanted to accomplish?
Great question.
I don't know. I feel like I kind of did everything that you could possibly do. And that was kind of part of the reason why I was like, okay, we're retiring, because there was nothing really left to do. It took me 11 years to get to a Super Bowl. So that's not something that you could just keep getting to unless you with New England, I guess. So
That's for real.
by the time I got there, it was my 11th season. And it was like, and then I came here to the Dolphins. And at that time, they had that the bullying thing going on. And I didn't see that happening here in the next couple of years, because it was like a lot of distractions coming from Baltimore to here. And it was like my 5th day here. They had the 2 offensive linemen who, was going at it about bullying. And I was like, oh, this is totally different. So I'm okay.
Did you ever have a time where you had to go up against, in practice, your own teammate where, it got physical, real physical?
never physical to the point where like a lot of people, other people like got in fights and stuff like in training camp. It was hide.
You was too big to mess
I
with.
think they probably thought about it. Like, do I really? And then sometimes you get in the fights, they still make you go right out there the next play and do the play. So they be exhausted too after you done got into a hard fight. It's like, now line back up now since y'all want to fight. And it's like, it just looks terrible.
Because I remember when I was playing football, I was playing defensive end, and there was always a dude to come off, and he would fake you and then hit you with an elbow right smack in the mouth. And I was like, yo, should I just put his face in the mud, or should I just keep playing?
Nah, you have situations like that a lot, and I feel like a lot of that takes place during training camp. And it's plenty of fights, and you got to try to break them up, things like that. But I never really had to get anything.
That's why John Randall used to take martial arts. He used martial arts on the lines.
Yeah.
To block his face and hit people like you, D. B-Mac, I got a question for you. Let me preface it. I'm just going to start by saying, is the NFL too soft? Question, roughing the passer calls, illegal hits, contact, pass interference. The league has said a lot of this is being implemented for the integrity of the game, to improve the safety of the game and the quality of the play. Where do you stand on the issue of hits, illegal contact, and the league being perceived as much softer now than it was 15, 20, 30 years ago?
It has gotten softer from when I came in. It was a different commissioner, too. It's gotten softer across the board from when you had Tagliabue to Goodell. And I think because at first people thought Goodell was just going to set an example for certain people, but that was just like his way of doing things. So then now it kind of frightened people. And then like rules started changing, which I could say to protect, some players, but then rules change every year. You have meetings, and they tell you 1 minute this is not right, and the next minute is okay. So it flip-flops back and forth. Even with like, I see how they celebrate now at the end as teams. You weren't allowed to do that at one point, but now it's okay to do it as long as you do it as a team. So like each year, some of these rules go back and forth to being okay and not being okay, and I don't know what it's based off of. So, but they softened it up now because of the awareness of like concussions and things like that. So helmet to helmet, I get, but I feel like anything else, I mean, it is a physical sport.
Is it improving the quality of play though? The tightening of the rule book?
I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know if the people were tougher back then or what, because everything has changed. Practice. When I first got there, you had 2-a-days, and that was 2 padded practices a day. Now you can only have one practice a day, and the next one has to be like in softies, which is like, that means no contact.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when me coming in, maybe I would have had a couple more years on me if I didn't have to go through 2 physical practices, you know what I mean, for like my first 6 years or 7 years. And then when I get to the second half of my career, it like lightens up a little bit. But I mean, it made people tougher. And when I came in, that's what I was used to. So for me, when I start seeing on the other side where everything is getting lighter, I'm looking at it as it's getting softer.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you really feel like the NFL is really trying to protect all their players, or are they just trying to protect?
They're trying to protect
investment?
themselves. They can always get another player, so they always going to do what they feel like they need to do to protect that shield. So it's about the player, safety and everything, but it's also not making sure they don't look bad. You know what I mean? And so that's why when you have the talks of concussion, and you see how fast that movie faded out because they have a lot of money. So
they getting sued up the wazoo by a lot of players too.
Yeah, they are,
So-
and they prolonging it and don't auditing people about that too. It's just pay these people their money. They got the exam and they graded out where they can get paid. Just pay them and be done with it.
We're here with Super Bowl champ Bryant Mckinnie. We're about to take a light commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages.
You're watching the
It's another episode of Way Different. This is live from the dojo. We got Z-Man in the building. We got Charlie Bravo in the building. And you know you got me, the 365 Ninja. From the moment Mari enter, what's on me agenda? Find a shorty like she Dory, then I bring her to my center. Rose and margaritas pouring straight up out the blender. Chanel number 5, as it lingers I remember. What's your name, what's your sign? Damn, you know you fine. Baby, all that ass, girl, I gotta make you mine. Daydreaming while I'm driving, how you looking from behind? If you feel the way I'm feeling, why the we wasting time? I deliver, make
We all have dreams. So, I mean, I know people, they probably think I'm used to it, you know what I'm saying, by now, but it's still a dream being in the NBA. You know, I still play 2K with those guys. So.
Which is why we end up the strongest, though. Let's be clear.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey.
Right, do you like to get? Do you like to get right? Do you like to get it on in the middle of the night? If you feel the way I'm feeling, if we gon' be alright, I say green light at the green light, don't stop, it's all go.
On the Wadedifferent Live, you already know I'm here with our special guest, Bryant Mckinnie, Super Bowl champ. You know, I got Off the Fingertips with Jason, the protege.
Yeah,
I'm here with the one and only. What's up with the one and only over there?
Man, I'm just trying to find out some things, man, from Big Mac, man. So let's get into it.
All right.
let's talk about this because a lot of times, you know, me being around a lot of NBA dads and a lot of players all the time, I see a lot of things, and I want to know, what do you think about family first, and part two of it, having friends around that you grew up with, your homies, and they being your managers or your business partners. What do you think about that? Is that something that we should, you know, have our kids come up doing, or should we just school them on how to stay away from their friends because they might not be the kind of people that can go to the next level with them?
Yeah, I think you should evaluate the type of friends it is, because some can, but I feel like they'll need some grooming too, because that's a new arena for them as well, and they would definitely need to be groomed on how to move, and probably if that's what they want to do, manage me, you need to like work under somebody else who does that, so you can learn from them and not take my career and you're learning on the fly with my career. We can't do that.
Wow.
First time I heard that one.
First time I heard that.
He basically said nepotism is overrated.
Yeah.
Because I don't want, like, we close and all, but I mean, I can get you in position to eventually get there, but we both can't start off. I need somebody with more experience, basically.
Yeah.
Well, LeBron kind of did that, right, D? He groomed his folks.
Yeah.
And now
He put his team on.
But they wanted to be groomed too, and everybody's friend doesn't want to be in that position. You'll try to groom people, and because it's your friend, you want more for them and want more out of them, and they're content with just being, I call it, a professional homeboy, and just hanging around and being around.
Professional homeboy. I like that one. I like that one.
professional homeboy.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about LeBron, he put his team on, but they have become one of the most richest teams ever put on by anybody. So shout out to LeBron James
Definitely.
for a job well done.
Yeah, just for now. Just for now.
Maverick and those guys are special, man.
I'm coming for Maverick. Just for now. Just for now.
Now let's get into family first, because a lot of people don't talk about family first. They always put friends, and they put their new friends ahead of family. What do you got to say about family first?
Family, you can put your family first, but your family has to still be acting like family. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, 'cause some people feel like, you know, because we're family, you're supposed to do this. But they also still have to remember, like, it's, you know, it's the individual's life, and we're family. I'm going to do but so much, but you can't take advantage of me because we're family. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then be mad because if a friend is it's helping me out more. Like, so you always going to help your family and everything, but you just don't want to let them take advantage. You know what I mean? And people will use the title family and, like, throw it in your face, but it's like, okay, but it got to somewhat
Sounds like you're talking
mutual.
from experience.
Because I've helped a lot of family, and then it's like, some family sometimes can get jealous of some friends, but it's like, I can't keep giving you money for something and then you're not doing nothing. Like, you know, family call you and keep asking you, like, to borrow money because they're trying to do something. It's like, okay, and you keep helping them.
You need the results.
Helping them, and it's like you never see any result from anything. It's like, this is not what it is. I'm not working to keep funding these different projects that you're doing, and nothing is working. So it's like, we're going to have to figure out something else. But then if you help another friend and then there's blossom, it's like, what you mad at me for? It's like, get with them and figure out like how it goes.
So basically, when it comes to family, you want family to do more diligence.
Yeah, I feel like my immediate
research.
family, they're good, but I'm talking about, like, I'm really talking about like cousins and stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
In other words, he gave them some fish. They complained, so then he gave them a fishing pole.
Right.
He said, handle your business.
Yeah, basically, do your research. Get down and dirty. Try to figure out what's your market. Understand your market.
It doesn't affect them because it's not really their money, so it's like, it's no loss really for them. You
They
know
didn't
what I
really
mean?
work hard for it.
It really don't affect them. They ain't lose nothing.
Yeah.
Yo.
That's great.
B-Mac, moving, just a slide step away from family, something for the kids in our audience. You've been a BCS national champion. You've obviously been an NFL Super Bowl champion. You've been a Pro Bowl selection. What is the formula for success in team sports? Like
team sports?
What characteristics can you pull out of your championship experience as a Hurricane and as a Raven that you would give back to a 7-on-7 team or a youth football team in Optimus?
Well, one, realizing that you're not bigger than the team is one main thing. Being accountable. So, like, that was a big thing going into my senior year.
What does that mean, accountable?
Being able for, your teammates to count on you and not you.
What is that, showing up on time, being in
showing
meetings?
up, being prepared.
Being prepared.
Right.
Don't just be there.
You got to be prepared. Right. And so that's knowing your playbook. That's being in the meetings on time. That's just you're being accountable. Like, you're there, you're present, you're ready to learn, and you have all the material down. So when we go out here, you're able to give your best effort.
Yes.
That's very important, because if you're playing at a high level, you may encourage somebody else to play even higher. Somebody else on your team may be looking up to you, and they see how professional you are and how you're carrying yourself, and that inspires them, and they're watching you, and they're learning from you. So you never know how you're affecting and how people view you on your team. Just being hardworking and consistent is just very valuable to me, I just think, and communicating.
Is working hard actually a talent?
No. It's up to you. Working hard is up to you. Like, you're not blessed. Like, I'm just blessed because I'm a hard worker. Like, it's like, it's either you work hard or you don't. It's you determine how hard you want to work.
So you still need a talent in order.
Once you have that talent, you just work hard to master it. Like,
so hard work doesn't beat talent, really?
No, because if the talent ain't doing anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, so hard work, a hard worker can outplay somebody who has the talent if the talent isn't working hard.
Working hard.
Yeah.
But if both are talented,
if they're talented and they're working hard, then they become an elite player.
Okay.
Big Mac, I'm big on giving back in the community and been doing it for many, many years. And I feel like every organization out here deserves a chance. And your foundation, Be Major, mission is to promote HIV and AIDS awareness among youth. With the immersion of the LGBTQ community, how is your organization reaching out to them?
I haven't really reached out to that community, but I just say it in general. And I said that because when I went to the Rookie Symposium back in 2002, South Florida had was in the top 10 or 5 of AIDS rates. And I was like, I live in South Florida. You know what I mean? So I was like, y'all better be careful out there, because it was West Palm, it was Broward, and Dade County. They were in that top 10 list of, people who counties who had it. So that rose that just gained my attention. So I've always tried to be aware of that. And then I had a friend who had 2 friends whose mom has passed from it, and so being friends with them and kind of learning more about it, it kind of makes you feel like sheesh, and you think somebody looks healthy, but that ain't always the case. So that's been always something that's kind of played in the back of my mind. And then just the fact of being in Miami's so fast, and then you got so many people coming in and out of town, and the nightlife, and people get caught up in these clubs and drinking and all that stuff. It's just very important, I think, to just stay protected and be safe. So that was one of the reasons why that was a big thing. That was a big thing early, because I heard that, at the Rookie Symposium.
Man, that's tough, man.
I remember when those numbers came out. That was when I knew it was time to get married.
That's big, man. I'm glad you're doing that.
So I just said it in general, because anybody can get it.
Yeah, that's big, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wade, for letting me know.
Yeah, I didn't have anything serious left.
All right, so I got one last question. I know we're coming to the conclusion of the show, man, and we so honored that you can be on our show, man.
Thanks for having me.
When he told me you was coming on, I was like, who the hell is Big? No.
Hey, don't play me, bro.
But one of my last questions, and I think sometimes I like to ask questions that I think that drives the message home. And I don't like to offend people in any kind of way because I don't want to be offended in my lifetime. But because I love people, so none of us are perfect, and we all make mistakes. Along your path to fortune and fame, how have you matured, and can you openly talk about mistakes you have made when you are engaging with people through your organization as you move around throughout the world?
Definitely, because I feel like some of the mistakes you made were learning curves. So I always look at it as like nobody's perfect, like we said, and everybody's made mistakes, whether it's public or behind closed doors. So yeah, I made a few mistakes. I mean, don't feel like because you gave me a contract that I'm all of a sudden going to be like this perfect person who is supposed to just go mistake free.
Okay.
One mistake, I guess, but I don't really care. That was a mistake because it ended up kind of team-wise helped us a little bit. I had a boat party.
Yeah.
Had a boat party in Minnesota. We had a boat party because I think we were like, I don't know if we had won a game yet or won only one game. And it was like we needed some type of team morale. And we thought it was a good idea to, hey, let's have a boat party and invite some girls and bond as a team.
Yeah.
And everything went fine, we thought, until we got a call that happened like on a Thursday or Friday. And then we got a call from Les Pico. He's like a human resources guy at the Vikings. And he was just telling us how like it may hit the media about a boat party that we had.
What?
And I'm thinking like, how?
Sounds like ballers already.
I feel like they got some of that stuff from there.
Yeah.
And it just came back that it was like the people who were serving on the boat, they were young. They were like 19 and 20, and they were talking about it. And one of their parents overheard, had somebody go down, investigate the boat. They never cleaned the boat. And they just found stuff on the boat, and then that's what built up the whole thing. They could never find the girls because they weren't from Minnesota. They were brought in from like Miami and Atlanta and like these different places. And after the boat party, basically we won like 7 games straight.
Amazing.
They
boat
called
party.
it the love boat, but I mean it ended up because at that point now it became just us against the world. I mean, they made like Jay Leno and all that type of stuff.
And you got a contract.
A big contract after
I
that
did.
too. Hey, you make a mistake the next day.
The next day.
I did.
Sound like a come up to
I
me.
think it was the next year though. I got it. I don't know. Was it the same year?
It was the same year.
It was the same year?
They traded you the next year.
No, I didn't get traded to like
15, right?
to like 2011. The boat party was 2005.
Ooh.
So
No, you got the contract. They gave you a 2-year, I think they gave you a 7-year extension or something like that.
in Minnesota,
Yeah.
that was 2005.
Yeah, you got a 7-year
I didn't leave there
extension.
until 2011 to go to Baltimore.
You came at the right
You
time
only
too.
did 2 years there, right?
Baltimore, yeah, I did
Right.
two.
So it was the
2.5.
7-year. You did. They gave you a 7-year extension.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I don't know how that worked. I didn't realize it was like around that same time, but yeah. So we had the boat party, but I mean, we ended up winning, and I don't know how I feel about it. It was fun, but I mean, public wise, I feel like other people have done it. Look at
Yeah, no doubt.
what's the owner of New England?
Yeah.
So don't
Robert
look at us
Kraft.
and be acting like.
Robert Kraft.
No,
Okay,
you know
so
what?
people do it, just got blasted on the news.
I think I was just trying to see, just how you matured since
Oh,
that
yeah.
time, because you're a community figure now,
Right.
And the things you do now,
Like, look at Uncle
are
Luke, what he
different.
was doing back then, but he's totally different now. Like,
Oh, yeah.
people grow. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
of course.
So that was me at 25 years old. I'm like 39 now.
No doubt.
Well,
Well, hey.
40 Club show.
That's all the
Yeah.
questions I have for him, and y'all know what I got to say next.
Before you do that, is there anything else you got going on besides you got the repent
I had
drink?
to repent, and
What
then
else?
I'm coming out with a
Why is it called repent?
because that's what you normally do after you have to throw up and all that other stuff.
He done a lot of repent.
After you make a bad decision,
Right,
too, you have to
man.
repent.
For everybody who's watching, if you're a party head, you got to get that repent. You can go ahead
Right.
and get it from Amazon, or you can get it from the official website.
Yep, drinkrepent.com. And then I have an app coming out called Let's Chat. It's a real-time translator. It translates up to 104 languages. You can text, and then you'll eventually be able to call, and it'll translate. And then we have a plugin that we'll be selling. So that won't be out till sometime May or June. The plugin will allow your website to translate into that person's native language. And they don't need the plugin. As long as you have it in your website, it'll convert to their native language. So that'll help the language barrier on a lot of things. And I want to get it to Uber down here so they can stop canceling some of my rides, because we've had
That's big.
we have a little language barrier sometimes. I'm trying to talk to these people, and it's like Okay, y'all definitely need less chat.
That would be beneficial
big.
in academic classrooms, and you
Yeah.
might be able to sell that technology to the United Nations.
That's
true.
big, bro.
Wow.
I'm talking to a multi-billionaire right now.
No doubt.
Speaking in my life.
Multi-billionaire.
Where everybody, if it's news around the world, then it's probably being talked about right here on the Wade Different Live. Share us with your friends. Tune in next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for me and my colleagues. Good night, everybody.
Big Mac.
Peace.